thought they were gonna take something like Sand King just because I felt like they needed a melee initiator
Places everyone.
well with the TA in the mid lane, and that was one of those heroes. As you see the flags of Jordan behind us.
Oh yeah, and this is going to be tight one. I'm feeling it. This one, like, I'm looking at it, it's going to be a lot of fighting action. Like, Escape very clearly
That's the
want to push
spirit.
the pace of this game, right? When you've got an X-Min, you've got a Lifestealer as your safe lane carry. This is going to be Escape Gaming trying to go, go, go.
Yeah, I feel like Escape, sometimes they'll draft for the late game. Like, they'll give Quakefa the best scaling hero possible.
Yep.
And that'll lead to sort of a weak mid lane, or weak mid game, but the Axe, what I really like about Escape's lineup is they're not cooldown reliant at all. That's the one downside of having a silencer on your team, but you have so many different ways to start a fight with these 4 melee heroes. Downside of their lineup, though, is that they're going to have a tough time going for the high ground without getting a lot of the objectives, without Fnatic taking a fight or them being able to take that Roche or contest for it at least, whereas Fnatic have a much cleaner high ground. They've got the presence of a Tide who's naturally going to build something defensive like the mech, but they also have to play heavily around their cooldowns, unlike Escape.
Do you think that was a weakness of Escape Gaming in the group stage? Do you think they tried to put
30
too much
seconds
on
to go.
Quakefa to carry mid to late game and weren't playing aggressive enough, and maybe this is why they're going to switch it up in this best of one?
Yeah, because I think the standard formula, when you have a player like Quakefa, is you give him one of the best late game scaling carries that you possibly can, you put him in the mid lane, you allow him to farm, you secure him as good of a game as possible, and if it gets past 40 minutes, he can auto-win you a game just because of his individual skill. But in a tournament like this, I think what really matters is, can you get the jumps off, can you get the initiation off? You're going to put Fnatic
And here we go.
in a panic. And Quakefa's hero, it's not like he doesn't scale poorly.
Fortune's
He's
change.
the Axe and the TA, he's almost always going to be decent.
All right, well, we're going to start things off with Bounty Runes being given up. Both sides, we have the mid-axe facing up against the Templar Assassin. We already heard some of our panel talk about how that one's going to be a bit rough for mid-one, but he's already shown himself more than capable to deal with rough circumstances. We have the aggro dual lane being run here. Kezu on the Slardar, as well as Yapzor backing him up on the Night Stalker. This is also going to be a point of contention, right? Fnatic do not have the strongest lane to be able to deal with aggression.
Downside for them right now is this Bounty Hunter is going to have to do quite a lot. Just because of in the laning phase, I feel like you said Escape can put a ton out of the top lane. He's just going to get back.
It's both the strength and the weakness of the Shadow Shaman, right? It's the fact that it's so good versus solo offlaner, but as you can see right now, both Yapzor and Kezu are easily able to push back against this dual lane because the Shadow Shaman can't deal with 2 heroes. And Mushi already having to burn through a healing salve. So we definitely have to keep our eye on that top lane and see how the action develops. Nice pickup here, the counter ward.
It does find it, but
Austin Bolt. Ultimately, they'll open up that pull, right? That's got to be a necessity, because I'm not sure if the Bounty Hunter being in the top lane can actually swing the favor to
Ohio is going to get slowed down a lot.
Yeah, he takes a large amount of damage.
He's trying to contest this lane just because it is a lifesteal and a silencer. He's trying to do what he can, but Lindarin stepping to his own man.
Got that last word, heavy amount of damage from that level 1 nuke. Silencer known to be one of the better support harassers in the game, whether it's because of the fact he's got an orb or mid-one, going to take a large amount of damage. You got a little lucky on the spins. He might have been able to finish off mid-one, but as it is, he'll just push the pressure onto mid-one, and now mid-one actually has to try and get the rest of this DM to start funneling himself a bottle. Hopefully he'll be able to do so underneath
Illusion!
Dude, a little lucky he needed like 4 more spins.
He'll be able to get it without a problem, it looks like.
Yeah, he's going to be okay in this lane. Things will start to even out for him as Quakefa tries to play as aggressively as possible, which is what he needs to do, but top lane, Ardar still getting okay amount of farm. Night Stalker not really able to zone out too hard. I think 3-4 years made the right idea here, just because him going mid means absolutely nothing. Yeah. Quakefa doesn't really care, and the most telling part about that is they didn't even pull Quakefa Sentry Ward. Like, we don't care about this lane so much, and we're not even going to bother prepping for the Bounty Hunter.
Would it be worth 3-4-3 to rotate all the way down to the bottom lane to help out the Tide Hunter and try and make it a 2-1-2?
No, because even with the Tide Hunter down there, without a level of Gush, I don't think they have the best presence, and he's probably not going to level him just because I think the better play might be soak up XP, which he's doing a very good job of right now. He's already level 4. Downside of having Lifesteal in this lane, Cap is just not a lot of kill potential.
Kezu Feeling a lot of pressure right now. Yapzor will be able to instantly take down the boy, but it's too late. Mushi
First
finds
blood.
with the land.
Let our
Very
great
well done by
comeback
Fnatic.
begin.
They realize this safe lane has to be secured as much as possible. They feel like they have the best late gamer in the game, in this Phantom Lancer. Carrying a safe lane so tough for Fnatic.
I feel like Kezu's performance on the off lane has been a bit wanting for Escape going into the group stage. And it seems like Escape are identifying that, trying to give him the best laning phase possible by doing this dual lane setup, but it's turning against them now as the Bounty Hunter is making the difference for Fnatic.
Yeah, the big thing right now is Ohio's just kind of punking them at bottom. Like, he doesn't care that this dual lane is harassing him. Silencer's only level 2. Oftentimes you'll see Synderen pick a hero for himself that can harass heavily or trade hits with the offlaner. Then he simply goes back to the pulling game.
Bountiful!
The Tidehunter just simply
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
The Lifestealer is you can only go through his mana pool once before he's no longer a threat. So you have to kind of pick their spots carefully here. And I think it's going to come from Yapzor making rotations, but because this top lane has gone so poorly, he's only level 2 right now.
We are definitely not going to be feeling too much of a presence on Yapzor unless he gets a bit lucky with that 6-minute rune. Maybe he can wrap around on mid. Koifa already put a lot of damage on the mid one before, but I say that we saw mid one earlier actually pick up that Invis rune, so he's even got an escape. Not too many options or a 4 position of escape gaming. Otherwise, everything looks pretty good for Ohio. Is now level 5 in the off lane, and it's getting harder and harder for Synderen to push him back.
Yeah, they really need this Slardar to have an okay laning phase. That's why they decided to go for this dual lane, because Yapzor's not getting anything. They haven't been able to harass this bottom lane. Ohio's now going to go for the Ancient stacks, which is further going to progress his Templar Assassin's farm. And more importantly, they need this second Blink initiation from Kezu to follow up. They don't have that much damage otherwise.
Now, we have a Lifestealer in the safe lane for Escape Gaming. When do we see Era start rotating out? Because we've seen Lifestealers that sometimes sit in their lane and sit in jungle and wait until they have the full arm length. Others, once they pick up level 6, they immediately jump inside a gank hero and try and put some pressure on the enemy team. What are your thoughts on the Lifestealer and how should he progress in this game?
Problem is, he doesn't have that natural vehicle that has farm. Normally you'd see him jump into something like the Slardar, they'd be able to execute a gank. They simply just can't do that because Kezu needs to farm. One gank goes disastrously. That's kind of the game for him. Like, this is a level 3 Slardar who just picked up Iron Talon, doesn't have boots, is level 3. I mean, I can't even believe I'm reading off those stats because we're rapidly approaching 6 minutes.
So in other words, we're going to be seeing a bit more of a slow pace.
Someone's having technical difficulties.
On both the axe as well as the Slardar.
The minimum. Maybe you could start rotating the Slardar once he hits 6. As he is right now, he's not going to lend a lot of pressure. And now they're just going to rotate out of this top lane, which maybe they should have done a little bit earlier because Mushi's getting as much CS as he wants anyways, even with his
dangerous Kezu will not put himself in the enough.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
Could potentially pick him off as a bounty hunter. Coming to 343, it just rotated over and spotted him out. Mid lane, 32 and 5 on the axe, 38 and 9. Mid
About time.
Still doing quite well in this 1v1 match.
Radiant's top tower's taking hits.
Fnatic want to just take this top tower, start getting as aggressive as possible, just because this bottom tower, I think it's going to be hard. It's really difficult to stabilize.
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business.
Maybe this top tower is a little bit safer. They are going to TP 343 back, who should just soak XP bottom, and I think they make this.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart. The Dire best do something about that bottom tower.
Either mid or bottom, preferably bottom, which now he's going to learn that he should do. And he doesn't.
Guess what's happening to Dire's bottom tower?
To do anything pre-track, and mid one, his game is perfectly fine because of the stacks. At top.
We are going to see
the Dire best do something about that bottom tower.
Looks like
Radiant's top tower.
Get a good crush. In fact, he's going to ravage this left. He doesn't want the Yapzor.
Radiant's top tower is taking hits.
Now Koifa's come in, managed to get a he gets the dunk. Now he's also going to be caught down. Koifa ready to go with another pulling.
I said good data.
Ohio.
We're 3 down. Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
And the boys turning it around. Escape Gaming. It was looking pretty nasty for them in the laning phase, but it all goes right with the fight.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
So quick on the TPs, able to react instantly as Koifa picks up so much gold, and although their plays, we were able to call it So we're Escape, as they managed to respond perfectly, and now they're going to grab some levels on their heroes. And Fnatic, they had a really good start to this game, but all of a sudden Arrow, who's been uncontested, he's going to take the top of the net voice charts.
Yeah, now Arrow's game could actually speed up quite a bit, right? Because we now have the first vehicle coming online pretty quickly. That Dagger is coming in, but Fnatic are now going to rotate their Phantom Lancer down to the bottom lane. Try and put some pressure on him. What is this about? Why don't they just return back to their safe lane and continue to farm away with the PL?
I think the difficulty in this is you just want to get DJ some levels. At 9 minutes in, he needs a little bit more farm. Is up and top, we're going to watch this as they pop the have no follow-up damage.
Yeah, they beautiful setup there from Escape Gaming, rotating Koipa in like that and being able to interrupt what was, I mean, as you said, we read it and Escape Gaming read it too. They read the rotation of Fnatic and managed to counter it. The axe just proved to be too strong.
It was still,
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up. Radiant's gone and fortified their structures.
Because it's Lifestealer, you're a little bit more deterred from doing that. There's no easy way to initiate on him unless you just blow Ravage out of the blue.
Yeah, Lifestealer's just like a little bit too strong in the laning phase, right? So you don't want to try and contest that.
Yeah, I think you kind of leave him alone and you make that play for top, but the big thing there is they wanted to be able to take that power cap. They can just start putting pressure into the Radiant jungle. They're unable to do so now, and Mushi's kind of in a weird position where he's got to continue to rotate because he has to let this PA Rasta just continue to farm as much as he wants.
Yeah, another downside of the roster, right, is that it is a support that is kind of greedy. It requires a lot of levels to be pretty impactful in the game. Otherwise, it just turns into tissue.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
Still, though, Fnatic are looking good on mid one. We haven't really talked too much about him, but he's top of the network right now.
Radiant's mid tower's been disowned.
Both the Phantom Lancer and the Axe Lifestealer.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Tower push by Fnatic. They don't really have to defend too much to get it. Not even the Shadow Shaman wards. They just kind of naturally pick it up. And now, I think EJ, because this spell has such a long cooldown, I think you just go for the Roshan and immediately expend it. I'm not sure if Escape can contest it unless this Axe starts making his way down. But whenever you have a high cooldown ability like this, whether it's Lion King of Death or the Shadow Shaman Master Wards, you just want to place them as fast as you possibly can. This is a very good Roshan attempt by them, especially if you go to
yeah, Escape Gaming seems to have no idea what to do. Has already been taking himself in that mid lane pretty aggressively, so he's showing a hero as simultaneously. He's also within walking distance of that Roshan pit should Escape find out what's happening and try and contest. Will fall shortly, and this will be a big boost for Fnatic.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom. Won't be stomping around no more thanks to the Dire.
Yeah, this is going to be huge for the TA, who they're clearly prioritizing the farm right now. You see the Bounty Hunter hit 6. I think this is a good time for them to smoke up, get ready, play around the Ravage. We talked about how they need
the Dire might want to mine their top tower.
At any point in the game. Now that you have the Aegis, it's very unlikely that Escape take this fight.
So now
Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
Yep, they know invasion's coming into the Radiant jungle. They get out of there. They spend their time.
The Dire went and fortified their structures. Dire's top tower, you know the drill.
They're just dodging. They realize, waste that Aegis timer.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now. Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
They won't try and fight Fnatic anymore.
Dire's top tower's gone.
You can still contend.
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days. Radiant structures must have been fortified.
Form of initiation, perhaps.
And the big thing right now is that Kezu just has to continue to farm right now.
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days.
1,000 golds. He's got the Tranquil Boots. Unfortunately,
Radiant lost one of their bottom towers.
Be really impactful around that 15-minute marker, so his timing will be a bit slower, but fortunately he's got some allies who will
this is going to be huge. Fnatic 3-man smoke up at top. They know that Escape are in their jungle. If they can't grab anybody out of this, though, this might just waste another minute or two of their Aegis.
Grab just Cinderin. May not even be worth it, but it would still be a track kill. Obviously, they want so much more. Cinderin picks up the Tranquil Boots and backs out pretty much at the right time here, but Kezu may still be picked off.
He cannot afford to die. Oh, they're pinging like crazy. They know they were smoked up.
Out of ward being laid out, but a very smart observer ward by Escape Gaming. Knowing that's pretty common warding area, they lay their observer ward right outside.
The first fight for Escape is going to be huge because this Slardar just doesn't have enough farm. Their Axe as well. is not the best late game scaler like we talked about. He's okay against this lineup, but with the way that Fnatic are geared up to fight, Phoenix South, travel, farming, and getting that. He's going to pick it up. He wants to participate in really fight.
Escape team is such a momentum-based lineup, right? Like they've got this lineup that needs to be able to win that first fight. So if you just build up stats and try and contest that first fight, if you can stop it, nip it in the bud, Escape Gaming may never be able to really get a good hold on this game.
Yeah, you notice that they're going to go for the 4-man smoke here. They're going to do it absent of their Slardar, who they realize just has to continue to farm in this game. And this is going to be one of their better opportunities, especially if they can open up on DJ. The App Store smoke story.
They try and get the cooling blade, not quite good enough, but Ohio will die nonetheless. He doesn't pop the Ravage. The game's not going to be a good time.
Always
in behind.
silence.
Got the Desolator, 3-4-3 on the side. He's going to be closed up, and that'll be a 2-for-1.
It's going to be difficult for them to continue to go as Lancer's pinging, telling DJ, be careful. They still have the blink available on that axe. He's got enough HP to make a counter initiation, but clean pick off so far from Escape.
Good enough. Kind of smoking that you wanted to see. They traded away Synderen, but hard fight position, that's okay. And they also bought Kezu just a little bit more space. A couple more minutes, he will have that blink dagger, and then we'll have our double initiators and Escape push the pace of this game. But it is 14 minutes in, and Fnatic are looking quite good for the time being in net worth and experience. All they have to do is play this passively and not let Escape get the right initiation.
Yeah, I think the downside for Fnatic right now is that Ohio doesn't have that mech available to him. But it'll be a big He has some of his allies coming in. Mid-one is still going to run over DJ, trailing a little bit farther behind. May not realize, though, this is a full 4-man of Escape. Top. Fnatic, they really want to get into this fight. Mid-one is so farmed right now. He's got that on top of the DD rune bottled, and they're going to be forward.
Got the Ravage. They think this is good fight. And then Crush comes in with the amplify damage. They're going to try and pop Ohio. Bring that range. Coming close to Ohio. Gets the event to dodge the Ravage, but now he's just up in with a tag like turns around, tries to get some damage on Ibushi, but it's no good. Escape. They'll lose 2 of their cores, and that's exactly the kind of fight Fnatic were looking for off the Ravage. Very surprised that Escape decided to take that fight, considering they knew the TA still had
Radiant's top tower is taking hits.
And that made all the difference in this
Radiant's
fight.
toughened up their structures.
Whipping didn't really seem to matter too much. And did one.
Radiant's top towers hurt. One last top tower for the Radiant.
Trying to start that Escape. Definitely didn't want it.
Blink dagger on him, and the mech rapidly approaching for Ohio. Big ticket items for Fnatic that can change the way of this game. And Escape, they've got a very limited time because the Radiant Fnatic are a dire sign of our assassin with the Desolator. Round 2 of Roshan is coming up quick, and it seems unlikely that it's going to go into the hands of Escape unless they're actively winning fights in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
As up at top, Mid-one's just going to set a trap. Hoping that Yapsor runs into the double melt, gets the first hit off, he should be able to just blink chase him down. And instead, decides it's not worth his time, and now he's going to go to the right.
See if he can get a better angle for it.
Hoping that Yapsor just runs through this safer area. Yapsor instead, he's going to go the long way, or is he?
No, Yapsor.
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business.
Towards the secret shop. Gonna pick up that point.
Oh no, he's going to get hit.
With the
Dire's bottom tower's been disowned.
At the bottom lane tower, DJ picks that one up against Era.
So well done by Mid-one, reading that movement from Yapsor. Yapsor, for a second, it looked like he was going to go all the way around, but he said no way to predict that, as he was just trying to push in the mid lane or the top lane and now escape. Yapsor on this Rosh pit, but
they're a little bit too late for it. They have the Infest up and the Blink Dagger for Kezu, but the Ancient Stack has already been taken. That's even for the
that's 4 in a row.
Hear the end of this.
Violator.
It cost him his life, and that one's going to be taken away pretty quickly.
Yeah, the worst part of that is they know where the wards are. That's a fresh one. And if you're losing in a game like this, you can't afford to get dewarded this early in.
Things just seem to go worse for Escape Gaming. We said they had to be a lineup that would push the tempo of the game, but they haven't really gotten their footing whatsoever. We've seen the Blink Daggers.
Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
Outside of that top lane engagement, where they managed to counter the Tidehunters rotation behind the tier 1 and that triple kill for Koifa.
Come and get it!
Fight has gone good for Escape.
It's just hard for them to take the fight without being able to Templar Assassin in this time. And more importantly, now that the Tide has the mech and the
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
it's going to be a nearly impossible fight for Escape.
Tier 2 seems like it's just going to be given up.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Best they can, but Fnatic are just
There goes Radiant's bottom tower.
They will be able to find a pickoff, it looks like, as Mushi unable to get off any spells. Get off the doppelganger on the side and will be able to get away with now the mech.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
They did have to deal with global silence for this as mid one. Gonna get stunned up, but I think Escape.
Dire's top tower. Now that is the grave.
Land 3-4-3. 6 to 7. The score may look
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up. Dire's top tower, you know the drill. No breaking down the Radiant structures like this. Radiant's mid tower could use a
They know that
hand.
Escape aren't that strong. They are Fast Serpent wards available too. I think Fnatic just back off. They immediately go to the Roshan when it spawns. Do that and just allow Mushi to continue to push out all the lanes for yourself. And decide to start thinking about the high ground.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. Like, it's very disciplined play, right? From Fnatic, they could have just gone and tried, oh, let's take that tier 2, but if you get into a fight around that tier 2, you blow Serpent Wards, you blow Ravage, and it doesn't go really well for you, you may end up losing control of Roshan. So much better that they backed out, kept those cooldowns of theirs, and will be able to go for Roche pretty easily. I can't really see how Escape Gaming are going to be able to contest if Templar Assassin is in the Roshan pit with Serpent Wards and the rest of the team is sitting just outside.
At some point, though, you have to take a fight against this lineup. I'm not even 100% sure that Escape can in the late game, just because they're just not getting a lot of farm progression on their heroes.
Once again, Ohio setting himself up in that mid lane, knowing that the Connect and the Ravage are ready to go. Push out that lane and still be within walking distance of the Roshan pit. So this is going to be a big moment for Escape Gaming. Can they get the right initiation? Earn the fortune of this game.
They're gonna get spotted though by this Templar Assassin ward.
Already.
Now they're gonna make their move in.
Case room.
That is not
Roche is tough, but the Dire's tougher still.
They're gonna get out now.
And now the initiation actually going to be coming out from Fnatic. They try and leave with the lands onto the Lifestealer. He just rages it off, and the rest of Escape Gaming will escape, but comes at a serious cost. Roshan and number 2 Aegis in the hand of Fnatic. Like the rest of these tier 2 towers.
Fnatic just decided to go mid. It's going to be hard for Escape to hold them. I do like that Escape went for that movement, but unfortunately for them it was too late and probably would have gone poorly for them anyways. They had no idea how low that Roshan was going to be. As soon as mid 1 picks up that Aegis, you can't really jump right into mid because the Shadow Shaman's waiting there. They'd have to do some kind of tactical move where they pop the global as the axe blinks in to prevent the Shadow Shaman shackles.
They've been taken out. They can find initiation, they do! Another one as the overload goes down on him. It's coming close and they get the Culling Blade. They take him out before Ravage goes down.
5 in a row.
Not enough space for him to get out. It's too damn hard.
The silence is broken!
2 down from Escape. Yes, they got it. They found that initiation, but you saw they were pinging on Mushi, and Mushi was already making his way through the Dire.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart. Radiant's mid tower's in trouble.
This is one of the worst situations for Escape, just because now Fnatic are already beating on their doorstep. Got the Shadow Shaman wards up in just 5 seconds. Still have Ravage available.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
They didn't even pop the Aegis on the mid 1, and now the wards are going to go down. And this is now the true test of Escape, whether or not that they can hold this high ground.
They couldn't get it.
Radiant's mid tower's getting the 1-4.
Escape Gaming here inside their base. Tier 3 tower. The rage being used by Era. This may lead to exposed. Fnatic come forward. jump in from Kenzu, stuns up in one, but he still got
Radiant's mid-rags didn't make it. Fear quiets magic.
In fact, they even get the call, but they are way too scared to actually jump on mid one, knowing that as noted, Ohio could get the Force Staff and Ravage, turning the whole entire fight into Fnatic's favor. So Fnatic, after taking that melee Rax, won't risk it any further. Backing out for a moment's notice and reevaluating. Looks like they're going to go for the tier 2 at top lane.
I think they know that this Aegis is going to last for long enough that they don't have to make that kind of play. It's only a range rack. There's no reason to give Escape any sort of free initiation. Ohio still had that Ravage available to them. Better to try to refresh this.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
And Escape, no matter what, they were going to lose that Rax. But they didn't secure up on top tower. Now they're going to be aggressive.
Radiant's top tower's hurting. The Radiant lost the top tower.
Even worse for Yapzor as his Night Stalker is barn. He can use every little help he can get. Nighttime included.
To me!
Nice link out from mid one just ahead of the call. The enemy with arrows. The Void comes in just in time. Thought the Templar Assassin was going to be able to make the escape.
That's round one.
Comes back, second life, and will be able to blink himself away. Not daring to step a foot outside of their base.
Jay has an arcane ward though, and he's got the Master Serpent Ward, so you desperately want to stop these resistance. You still have the time on it. Fnatic
Guess what's happening to Dire's bottom tower?
It's still on cooldown for them as well. Ravage
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
Escape can't afford to give up the second set of racks.
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business. Have fun trying to bust down Radiant structures now. Radiant's top tower's taking hits.
Excellently, or
The Dire best do something about Radiant got one less top tower.
Oh, they managed to get the call now in the mid one.
Guess what's happening to Dire's bottom tower?
Hear myself think.
Somebody's rag too down. Radiant's mid-rags taking some punishment. The Radiant's top rags is gone now.
Mid one right now is so unstoppable with that BKB available.
Radiant's mid-rags is out of the picture.
On their side. They've got to just clump up around that Ravage. It was even daytime, but now they're going to go for the Mega Creeps. Trying to end all hope for the game.
There it is. They call it.
Battle of the deep ones. Calling. Someone's dropped out.
Escape gaining that team at no point in time, excluding that, again, that one fight between the tier 1 and the tier 2 in the top lane. Everything seemed to go Fnatic's way.